Hello, everybody. It is Demetra K. How are you today? I hope you're having a fabulous day. I want to say hello to those on YouTube eventually, the Demetra K podcast, and those on Facebook Live. Hopefully you can see the topic of Black MisLeadership of today, or yesterday and today. The more things change, the more they stay the same, with a question mark. And I also like to just say thank you to Donovan Sadiq, who has making all this happen. You see the green screen now, but eventually once the YouTube video is produced, you'll see all the magic that goes behind it that makes it a little bit more than what you see now. And so for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and just get into some of my notes because I have quite a bit. It won't take me too long, but I just want to give some background information as to what I'm talking about. That way we'll have a better idea of where to go or where not to go. All right, and so Black MisLeadership of yesterday and today. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I also like to say the purpose always of this show is to promote love, knowledge, and understanding of Black issues so that we can be better Black people, in case anybody was confused as to why we're doing this. All right, so in 1909, an organization by the name of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP, was created. Now, it was created due to a deadly race riot and lynching that took place a year before in Illinois. Now, a group of white liberals called a meeting to discuss the racial injustice. Now, out of 60 people who attended, 7 of them were Black. Now, some of those people were W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and Mary Church Terrell. Now, the NAACP was based off of Du Bois's organization called the Niagara Movement that was also seeking to end segregation and discrimination within the Black public sector. So with Black people, basically. Okay, so after lackluster success with his organization, the NAACP hired Du Bois on as the leader and the editor of their journal called The Crisis. Now, this all came from the NAACP website. Now, many of those members, including member of the Black ones, believed in the eugenics program. Now, for those of you who don't know what the eugenics program is, it's a movement that is aimed at improving genetic composition of the human race. Now, this was created by a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger. Now, she believed in sterilization and just different birth control methods to make sure that the downtrodden, in her eyes, lackluster people and Black people, Black women specifically, didn't procreate, causing more of a burden on society. Now, these were her ideologies. Now, again, she was in line with the NAACP, or they were in line with her, rather. All right, now, Du Bois was quoted as saying, "The mass of ignorant Negroes still breed carelessly and disastrously, so that the increase among Negroes, even more than the increase among whites, is from that part of the population least intelligent and fit, and least able to rear their children properly." Now, this was a Black man who sat at the helm of the NAACP, who was making these comments, or those comments rather, about his own people. Hey, you guys, and I'll get to your comments in just a second. And so, did they hire Du Bois to sell their cause of eugenics? Okay, well, let's go further. Mary Bethune-McLeod, a Black educator and Black leader, was another proponent of the eugenics program. She was the founder of the National Council of Negro Women, which represented the national and international concerns of Black women. Now, once the funding was given to Bethune's clinic from the Negro Project, I'm sorry, and I'm not losing my voice, I'm getting it back, so bear with me. I sound like I'm going through puberty. Okay, so remember, the Negro Project was Margaret Sanger's eugenics plan for Black people. Now, the white men who were leading the Birth Control Federation of America took over Bethune's organization, and the sterilization of Black women began. So they duped her, for a lack of better words. Hey, Mary, we're going to help you, help the Black women. And then once they got a hold of it, it was like, aha, thanks, we got it from here. All right. So why would a bunch of white folks want to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of Black people to eliminate race-based discrimination. Where were all those good white folks during slavery? Now remember, during slavery, they needed black people because black people did what? Black people made America what it is. Black people made America great in their eyes as far as picking cotton and doing the hard labor. Once slavery was over, black people became a burden to society. So you know what? Let's get rid of them, right? These aren't my words. This is the stuff I research. And most of you guys already know this stuff anyway. Now, in addition to the aforementioned black leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. was associated with Margaret Sanger and her Negro Project. Okay, check it out. In fact, he was the recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award. At the time, he was not available to receive the award, but his wife, Coretta, received it for him and read a speech that he prepared. He thanked the organization for the award and said that he would consider it, quote unquote, one of his most cherished possessions. Now, that was in 1966. But earlier in 1939, now check this out, you guys. This is the jaw dropper. In 1939, Margaret Sanger, who believed in exterminating black folks and lackluster people in society by way of birth control, wrote this passage that I'm getting ready to read to you guys in a letter to a friend of hers who was a doctor. And she said, quote unquote, this is her words, "We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten all of that out if ever it occurs to any of their more rebellious members." So she's saying, let's get somebody with some charisma. Now you think about Martin Luther King. Did she not describe Martin Luther King to a T almost 30 years before he got this award? I mean, he was a child when she wrote this letter. All right, so moving along to modern times. Just recently, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came under fire from the Jewish community for saying that the powerful Jews were his enemies and that the Jews are responsible for all of this filth and bad behavior is what I'm trying to say.
Degenerative, yeah.
There you go, degenerative behavior that Hollywood is putting out, turning men into women and women into men. All right. Now, from that point, many black leadership have been asked to resign by the GOP and many Jewish faith-based organizations because they didn't denounce the minister for saying those things. Now, some of those people include 7 members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Of those people, you have Representative Barbara Lee, Danny Davis, Gregory Meeks, and Keith Ellison, who used to be in the Nation of Islam, right. But once he started moving up the political ladder, he started to denounce Farrakhan, and the Nation of Islam. All right. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus was created 47 years ago with the purpose of eradicating racism. How is that working out for us so far? Okay. Now, when they first started, they were aligned with the ideas of fighting for civil rights. But now it is said that it's just concerned with pushing its political weight around. So they want to use their status as Congressional Caucus members or,
fighters of justice.
Yeah, if you don't do what we say, we're going to organize and we're not going to do A, B, C, and D. So it's like a political, thing now for them. Now, it is also said they refuse to conform to new ideas. Their membership enjoys a high incumbency rate, and their ideas are usually in favor of the Democrat Party. I don't think that's a secret, right? Now, I'm almost done. I know that was a lot. Now, John Lewis marched with King and Selma over 50 years ago for civil rights, but he told black folks to be with her. Remember, I'm with her, Hillary Clinton.
And then when Obama was popular when the first time, then he wanted to switch when everything seemed like it was going Obama's way.
Right. And so now, so when Hillary is running for president, now Hillary and her former president husband signed policies that harm the civil rights of black people.
Yes, they did.
Where has he and others like him truly led us? And listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know John Lewis is,
he's an icon.
He's very icon. He's respected in the March for Civil Rights, and so we should never take that away from him. Mm-hmm. But I saw even the other day, he was celebrating the fact that it was, I don't know what he was celebrating.
The 53rd anniversary of crossing the Selma Bridge and getting his skull cracked.
Yeah, so where has it truly led us? And I'm finishing up here. Has anybody seen Al or Jesse? Where are they at? Because weren't they fighting for black people and all this other stuff? All right, now these are the questions I'm going to ask. I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm just asking. Is people like Sean King, Angela Rye, Van Jones, your Cory Bookers, and others like them really trying to help black folks? Like, what's their agenda really? All right? Who are those people really working for and why? Those people and organizations tell us what to think and who to vote for. Do they not? Most of those people support and are members of the NAACP in this Congressional Black Caucus. Are they not? Most of those people are considered fairly intelligent. Are they not? Farrakhan said, what good does it do to have a brilliant black head connected to just the black body if they're not going to actually help the black body? He also says that black leadership is winning, but the masses keep losing. Wouldn't those folks know the organizations such as the NAACP had founders and members that supported the Negro Project, otherwise known as eugenics, and the sick and twisted plot of Margaret Sanger, who was also in cahoots with the KKK? They were homies. They were like, okay, this is what we need to do. And so, everybody's running around talking about Hillary, Planned Parenthood, and, all this other stuff. But all of these people that I just mentioned, they were all in cahoots. Even the NAACP, they were for, most of their members were for the eugenics program. All right. And so the question I have is, so why would we continue to let them lead us down the same path of yesterday? Let's talk.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead. I'm going to get to the comments here.
Would you also say, we talk about eugenics and stuff now, a lot of people don't talk about the black genocide of, abortions that are going on within the black community that actually happens.
And for you guys, those of you guys tuning in, that's Donovan. I'm going to show you guys real quick. That way you won't wonder who he is. That's Donovan.
Hope I didn't scare you. So,
all right.
But my question is, with the Holocaust of black babies being aborted at alarming rates.
Yes.
Do you think that maybe the narrative that is going on within NAACP and some of these black leadership, why is it that we're putting in our children's heads that you have a baby, your life is over?
Well, because that's kind of what's been sold to us from the beginning.
Okay.
The baby's gonna be a burden. Hell, you're a burden, so don't cause everybody else a burden. Oh, the taxpayers this, the taxpayers that. Just go ahead and get rid of it. It's free.
Which is another form of
its eugenics. Exactly. That's what Planned Parenthood was born out of, the eugenics program. Hey, let's set up these clinics and, give these
help these folks.
People. Yeah, let's help them make life easier for them, but it's really making life easier for us. And so I'll get to your comments. Dennis, you say, hey, Demetra, what's happening, Dennis? Ronice, what's happening? Quentin, long time no see. Samuel, she said black people were human weeds. Yes, among a lot of stuff. Burdens to society, the downtrodden, just the worst.
Burden or menace.
Hey, Naomi.
Burden or menace.
All of that. Well, a thorn in her side.
Right.
And Dennis, she says, not really. And Samuel says, wow, W.E.B. Du Bois and Bethune. Yes.
Yes, they were involved.
Look it up. They were involved. I don't know to what degree, but you heard the comment that Du Bois said he was more or less like they breathe carelessly. They're unintelligent and they're unfit. And so let's help them alleviate them and us of having to take care of them. Because as you know, too, W.E.B. Du Bois was the author of the Talented 10th program. And that was the 10%, talented 10% of the black race is supposed to go acquire knowledge and skills and stuff and come back and teach the other 9/10, or the 90% of us. But if I'm in his head, he's thinking, okay, we have 90% that we need to teach. Let's not have it be the 90% that we deem that's unacceptable.
Okay.
At least these people need to be teachable. Some people in our, we just don't want to deal with some black people. So let's just get rid of them from the womb. Hey, Ruben, where have you been? You say you are on to something, you think? And then she says, nice dude. Thank you so much. I tried to do it a little lopsided today. So I hope you guys don't think my afro was flat on one side.
Were you going for the Bobby Brown look?
I think so, but it's the Bobby Brown, the Bobby Brown of 2018.
Oh, 18. Okay, gotcha. Cracked out.
Hey, Joey said, that is why the church got to go. We going to talk about them too. King too. Yes, Samuel. King too. King, you heard it. He said he would always consider that one of his most prized possessions, the award that Margaret Sanger's organization gave to him. And, Margaret Sanger was trying to exterminate black people. Her organizations took black women and sterilized them against their will in a lot of cases, lied to them, coerced them into doing these things, making their womb to where they couldn't produce anymore. So,
in recent history, the Tuskegee experiment, that was another thing that they did, giving black men
the syphilis, and saying that it
and
couldn't
see what happens to them.
And it couldn't be cured, and all they needed was a shot of penicillin. Right. Yep. William, hey, you says misleaders cannot be respected. And you also say no. And then you also say the establishment. Rumi, you say you are all talking about it. And Jonelle says, peace, queen and family. What's happening? And then Samuel says, I believe the chemtrails like crop dusting are really to destroy human weeds. And Ruby says, McAllen, Texas. Well, no, absolutely. I mean, it does make you wonder, what all of those things are about. I mean, you think about the people who are in control of what we drink and what we eat. Hell, you can't even go to the store and get a organic apple because is it really organic? How do you know it's organic? Because they put a sticker on it.
And then once again, people don't follow politics because they're so disenfranchised. Trump just auzed the coal industry to dump toxins back into the lakes.
Right. So where's that water going?
Exactly.
But people, we won't research it. And somebody made a good point about the church. Well, Margaret Sanger, with her organization of eugenics, she said right there in her letter, black people are so religious. If you're going and come on, we're all smart enough to know if you're going to do or try to get anything through to black people, do it through the church.
Do it through the church.
Do it through religion because we are religious. I don't want to call it a hype because I don't want to be disrespectful to people who do go to church, but we do. We talk about the Bible, but we won't read the Bible. Bible tells us to study, to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth so that we will know things for ourselves, but we won't do that. We just take everything at face value. And so to Margaret Sanger's point, let's go get, a couple of charismatic preachers who, give them the fire and brimstone and talk a good game and, sell our program. And those Negroes ain't going to care because he up there hooping and hollering. And
and what's really sad is we are so religious, the pastor could be sleeping with everybody in the church.
And we'll just be like, let go, let God. God, he's sorry. We need to forgive him and move on and all of that kind of stuff. Hey, Ronald, he says, we are the original people. You better believe it. And Ruben says, I am a fitness trainer for Fit Science. The proprietor is Candace M. Fox. Okay. Well, so maybe you can give us some fitness tips. But so, yeah, I mean, at some point in time, and the reason I thought this was important, especially now, is because as you guys know, it's election season. It's coming up very soon. It's election season. It's coming up very soon. And so we're going to have all of these politicians, hey, Asada, who are going to be pandering to the black community once again.
Maxine Waters, I reserve my time.
I saw a clip
I reserve
of
my time.
Yeah,
I reserve my time.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming my time. Okay, go ahead.
I saw a clip of Maxine Waters the other day. She was somewhere in Los Angeles, her and Angela Rye, and I forget what they were talking about, but the brother got up and asked, he says, well, okay, if we elect you for the most part, are you going to be willing to take up the cause of reparations? And she said, yes, she would.
She said that 15 years ago.
I sure would.
She said that 15 years ago.
Well, she said it again. So to your point, if she said that 15 years ago, here we are 15 years later. It's election season. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you guys, I'll take up the arms of reparations to see if we can get y'all some money.
2 years from now. Oh, I didn't get around to that. But next time.
Right.
And nobody wants to hear all that. Matter of fact, everybody wants to hear why Angela Rye and Common broke up. Let's talk about that.
We don't care why Angela Rye and Common broke up. Because as far as I'm concerned,
but that's my point of how we're quick to get that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we don't.
We all up in a business.
Right.
And then, let's see. I missed some comments here. And then Al says, I see Al's gal, but where can you find a woman like Jesse's gal? Lord have mercy. That's Jesse Jackson or Rick Springsteen or somebody. And Ruby says, I've read it 9 times and still reading it. What is that? And then Samuel says, we forgive pastors for just about anything except for messing with the money. And even then, Samuel, even then, he could get up there and say, well, what happened was. It give us.
I'm calling Savior. Whoa.
He'll give us an excuse and we'll say, you know what? Well, if he had to take that trip to the Bahamas, he was out there doing some soul winning in the Bahamas. He had to do it. We'll still forgive him.
And what kills me is when you got these pastors that mix into politics. When Corrine Brown went to prison, all these pastors were like, oh, well, she's done so much for the community. This woman got indicted on 18 of 24 counts. Account for that. Let's forget stealing from the children. Account for the mail fraud, this fraud, that. Right. Pastors are like, well, she has a good spirit and that.
Yeah, but she gained almost $1 million from the peoples.
Right, but see, the reason why they supported her is because she was supporting them.
Right, they're all
intertwined.
They're all in cahoots together. Listen, Pastor, I need you to go talk to the black community. For those of you guys that go to church, if I'm lying, I'm flying. And only time I fly is if I'm in a plane, okay? It's election season. Watch how many black politicians and even some white ones come up in the church. Well,
I need your support.
Such and such congregation. It's so glad to see you. It's election season and I'm running for the such and such district and it sure would be nice to, see you out there in the polls. I'm not asking you to vote for me, but if you do, my name is Demetra K.
Absolutely.
I hope I don't go to hell. Am I not
No. You
okay.
just look. You're actually a prophetess. You're actually.
I'm the prophetess. I'm an apostle.
You're an apostle. If
hey, Floyd, and you say people always forget about the midterms. Yes. Peoples. That's the most important election you will participate in is the midterm.
Not the presidential.
Not the
midterm.
presidential because as they say, those presidents are chosen. They got other people they answer to. But right here at home, whether it's your assembly people, your council people, your Congress people, the judges, the sheriffs, those people directly affect us, and especially black people, because we know that there's a lot of judges that sit up on that bench and, going to give Ray 5 years for a dime bag of weed. But, the white man come up in there, he going to have more than that. He going to be like, probation. Well, just don't do it again.
Yeah, probation.
Okay? Yeah, probation.
And then, since we're talking about misrepresentation and misleading of the black leaders, can somebody please explain to me how does Maxine Waters, Corrine Brown, Chaka, whatever his name is.
We still ain't found out his last name. I think it's Chaka Golden.
Yeah, these guys become multi-millionaires. Maxine Waters is worth over $68 million, and she has not had a job other than a congressional job. So how is she being enriched?
Because these people here, and I'm gonna get to the rest of your comments. These people, like the Congress people and all these other people, they are funded by these larger operations, these corporations. What is the Bradley Corporation? People like that who are really right-wing organizations, but they get these, black Democrats and people in there too and say, hey, you know what, we're going to fund this, that, and the other. Go out there and sell the cause of the people. Give them just a little bit. Get them hyped up a little bit, but don't, be careful because we don't want them to get too hyped, Sure. And then she said, all right now. And then Ruby said, you work out constantly. I need to get on your bandwagon, working out constantly too. And Ronnie says, tell him, sister, I'm trying. Al says it's common illiterate because he talks really slow. I have no idea, but I do like his music. And then Dennis, you say God is good. And so I don't, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful
to anybody's religion.
To anybody's religion. I'm personally not religious, although I used to be. So that's why I know a lot about the Bible. So for a lot of people who are always trying to thump the Bible and give me all these scriptures, and I'm like, are you really reading the book? Just like, let's say for anybody who was a Trump supporter. You're a Trump supporter. Donovan's not a Trump supporter.
I'm a Trump supporter.
I stab him with this Sharpie. How could you be a Trump supporter and profess that you're a Christian? Where are any of the things that Trump does or says to and about and people? Where is that kind of stuff found in the Bible?
Yeah, he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah,
his current wife was a porn star. Then he cheats on her with another porn star.
Yeah, I mean, where does it say that Trump is supposed to be doing all? Yeah, it does say respect your leaders, but isn't your leader supposed to be doing stuff that's respectable? Isn't it like a two-way street? And then Al says, amen, good time, Sanford and Son. What's happening? The Jeffersons all have episodes about crooked politicians.
Yes.
Yes. And, believe it or not, those shows were scripted and directed by white people like your Norman Lears and people like that. But they had a lot of black writers. So what were they really trying to say to the black community? Because, let's be honest, black people watch TV more than anybody. And so during those times, we were watching those. So specifically the episode on Good Times where they had the black Jesus, and we talk about this a lot. The black Jesus on the wall in Florida was like, oh, hell no. That's blasphemy. That's not, Jesus wasn't black. Jesus was white. But it's like, okay, Florida, and I'm just kind of chastising the writers a little bit. If you're such a big Bible thumper, you of all people should have held up a black Jesus on the wall before Michael did. Because if you're truly reading the Bible, you know that there's no way in heaven, I was going to say hell, that Jesus could have been a lily white man with rosy cheeks, blonde hair, and blue eyes. There's no way.
And if you look at the world geography, most people in that area are dark-skinned.
Dark-skinned.
In warm areas, people are
dark-skinned.
So
it's like, you don't even have to be, because, listen, y'all, I'm not even that smart at all. But what I do know how to do is read. Sometimes I know I jack up the stuff here, but I do know how to read and I know how to Google. And so Ronald, he says, peace unto you and the family, and the same to you. And Al says, the only time most Christians read the Bible is when they are on the toilet. Wow. Well, maybe they should be inculcating the information while they're there. I was going to go a little bit further with that, but I'm not. And so, again, why do we continue letting, wow, I took y'all all the way back to 1909. That we have continuously fallen in the trap. Like I said, you think about a lot of these pundits on TV, just different politicians, they are always telling us who to vote for.
Who's popular. What
agenda to do. Join this organization, that organization. But if you just take a step back and say, okay, you want me to join, let's say, and I'm not trying to beat up on the NAACP because I am friends with people who are part of the NAACP. But okay, you want me to join the NAACP. All right, well, let me look and see what the NAACP is about. Now, in all fairness, the NAACP, they do show up to different things when people are, given injustice and that kind of stuff. So they do those type of things. But as large as that organization is, and as long as they've been around, their real major claim to fame should not be dated back to 1967. When... What was it? The Voters' Rights Act?
Voters' Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. 65 is the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act 67.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be their last huge claim to fame. We should have moved the ball a little bit, I would say a lot more in all those times. Hell, like I said, the voting right has been around as long as I've been, longer than I've been alive.
Right, exactly.
And I'm not even that old.
For those, and then for those that are self-proclaimed Democrats, ask yourself, why am I a Democrat? Most likely because your parents were a Democrat.
Right.
And then right now in the Democratic Party, and I'm not bashing the Democratic Party, I'm an independent. Every black person should be independent and vote, because both parties have good ideas. I'm very sure everybody knows that. However, right now, if there was the election held for the president tomorrow, who is the leader in the Democratic Party?
Well, it's funny that you asked that because I've seen lately your Sean Kings and different people talking about, not that he's a Democrat, but he switched over, Bernie Sanders. I've heard a lot of people start to talk about Bernie Sanders again.
Right. Now, well, like I said, take Bernie out of it because he ran in the last election. I'm just saying right now, who is leading the Democratic Party? You know why you don't know?
That one of the Kennedys?
No, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know why you don't know? Because they haven't told you.
Right.
They haven't told you.
Yeah, and to your point, they're going to tell us who to vote for, and we're going to do it. But to his point, black people should we should form our own independent party and say collectively, this is who, and that's Dr. Claude Anderson's theory as well. He originated it as far as I know, or maybe he didn't, but he's more popular for saying it, is that we should collectively vote together. Okay, we're going to vote for Arthur Johnson, I'm just making that up. Okay, he's good. He's going to do stuff for black people. He's going to serve the purpose of black people. Okay, black people, this is who we are voting for. Right. Regardless if he's popular, but everybody you're not. And then Ruby says, the Mormons made Christ white. Somebody made him white. But we all know, if reading the Bible, that, Christ...
They described him completely.
Yeah, but why is that, though? But this is what a lot of people don't understand, too, is when those who control the narrative, you got to think about it. Who controls the narrative? They're able to say, well, hell, we see that he's black in the Bible, but since we control the narrative, we own the media and this, that, and the other, we gonna make him white, y'all.
Napoleon always said, history is written by the winners.
Exactly. And you think about it, slaves couldn't read. A lot of them couldn't, because it was against the law. They would be killed, a lot of them, if they were caught reading. And so they didn't read. They couldn't see that, okay, y'all telling me that Jesus is white, but here in this Bible, he's black.
Hair of wool.
So they just took their word for it. And from slavery until today, there's a lot of black people who think Jesus is white. And God forbid you try to tell them they're not. You might get disowned, you know. And then she say, amen. And Holland, what's happening, says, good day, my kings and queens. Good day to you as well. Good day. And Al says, it would be incumbent for black people to put the Bible down first and then pick up a pen and get registered to vote. Well, yeah, we do need to get registered to vote, but vote responsibly. A vote is an investment. A vote is it should, if we do it right, ensure that we get the needs and our concerns right. But then, we start practicing group economics. It's like,
no, I don't want to. I don't want to vote because it doesn't matter who I vote for. It doesn't affect me. I don't. It's just not worth my time to vote. Yeah, and then when you have that attitude, they win.
Right, and then when your cousin end up going to jail for something stupid, and then he gets arrested, by the sheriff's department, who has somebody in charge who is not favorable to black people, and then he stands before a judge who has a high sentencing rate of black people for nonsense, then that's when it's going to matter to you,
A lot of people don't even know this. Do you know some of the greatest Supreme Court, who's the head of the Supreme Court? What's he called? The head guy?
Hell if I know.
Yeah, the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court never even knew law. John Marshall, he was one of them.
Yeah, because they say you don't have to be a lawyer.
Exactly. So when you got these people running for judge in your county, most likely you don't have to have a law degree to do that.
Right.
Because the law is based on common sense.
Right.
And common law.
But it'd be helpful if they
did, it'd be helpful if you know law. Well, I don't know. Because that's why you have lawyers that screw everything up. They make it worse. But some of your most successful Chief Justice in United States history didn't know anything about law. They were just common people that use common sense.
And that's partially why we're where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then she said, stop rumors from running around. Stop spreading the lies. Are we spreading lies, Dennis? Tell us, what lies are we spreading? And hey, Billy, where have you been? And Holland says, Asada Toppin, I'm tuned in. Yay. And she says, I see you. And so, again, I'm going to keep going back to that question. What do we need to do differently to stop being led astray? Because, I was thinking about this morning. Let's take, Barack Obama. I know that's a sore subject with a lot of people. And I don't know if I read that Obama also, the peoples, whoever they are, asked Obama, how do you feel about Farrakhan's statement regarding the Jews? And by way of his spokeswoman, he says, I still denounce the minister. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, in January, a photo surfaced of Farrakhan and Obama. Now, Farrakhan talked about this picture for many years back. Actually, right after Obama got out of office, he said, there's a picture. So a lot of people are probably thinking, yeah, right. And in January, an author who wrote an article, or I think it was a book, published this picture.
See, I told you he was a Muslim. I told you.
And lo and behold, I don't know if he's a Muslim.
I'm messing with
but there's this picture of Barack Obama. So at one point in time, you rock with the minister. Now all of a sudden, white folks and the powers that be told you not to do it. Now you're not going to do it.
Right. Well, you got to remember, he's from Chicago, so it isn't far-fetched to believe that he did rock with the minister.
Right, but so now you have all these people telling you, and listen, I'm not defending the minister because the minister don't need me to do that, right. But I want to speak, truth to power and speak some facts. What has Farrakhan done or said that is wrong? All of Farrakhan has ever tried to do is help black people be better black people. But yet now you have this establishment that's telling everybody, look at Negroes, nigga, you better get on Twitter and you better denounce the minister. Right. Otherwise, we ain't going to vote for you. You better do what we say because, he said this and that about the Jewish people. Now, whether he said what he said is true or not, do your research.
Do your research.
I watched the webcast of the Nation of Islam today, and Brother Wesley Muhammad broke it all down. It's like, okay, well, where's the lie? So you guys do your research on that. But it's like, who are they? They being white people, the Jewish people, to tell black people who they should follow. who they should pay attention to, who is not worthy. Hell, what have they done? And Dr. Boyce Watkins, I'm going to get to you guys' point in just a second. Dr. Boyce Watkins made a good point. He says these Jewish people want everybody to denounce Farrakhan, but how come they're not denouncing different people like the record labels? Jewish people, let's be honest, Jewish people own a lot of record labels that hire or give black people like the Young Thugs and all these dudes walking around in dresses and, makeup and nail polish and all this other stuff, which do your thing, boo. But they say derogatory things about black people all the time, or, bitches and hoes, but they give those type of people money. Where is all the outrage then? Why are you upset? Why is it now? Because he said something about Jewish people that he needs to be denounced. And as anybody can see, Farrakhan ain't scared of nobody. Like you say, I'm the freest black man walking around. If I really have some dirt on me, don't you think I'd be in jail right now? And so let me shut up now. And so Al says, I never really gave a care what color Jesus is, because if people would do what you say, listen and know who you are first. Absolutely. And then Billy says, sorry, been busy. He says, but I'm here, laugh out loud. And Ruben says, if Hispanics register, they will own this country. Blacks have a high percentage of voters, but they kill off their population by abortion.
That's what we said.
You're right. And that's one of the ways we kill off our abortion. Let's stop killing our babies.
Stop telling these young girls that, you have a baby, your life is over. Everybody's entitled to a mistake.
Right. Work it out.
Right.
We need to come together as a community and figure it out.
And start teaching these young men to step up and be men and take care of their responsibilities. It's a joint venture.
Absolutely. And then it says reading the Bible on the toilet. Oh, that wasn't me. I listen. I'm just moderating the comments. Okay?
I do some of my best reading when I'm on the toilet. I guess that must be a man thing.
It must be a man thing. And it also says one way not to be led astray is to stay at home and not let the shopping mall make frequent calls. I don't know what that means.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Hallelujah. Jonelle says the minister didn't let the picture out so Obama could get in the office. Yes. Exactly. And he said that. He said, he agreed. Him and Obama agreed that they wouldn't do that. So he can go on and do all the things he was supposed to do politically. He became a senator, and then obviously we know he became the president. But Farrakhan did him a favor. Yeah. Because, the oppressors, the powers that be, was gunning for him. All they had to do was just drop that picture. It would have been a wrap.
And it's just funny how the white so-called bomber that he was supposedly hanging out with, the white guy, they were all up in arms about that.
Roy Ayers.
Yeah, Roy Ayers. But let him be with his own people. Don't do that at all.
Right. And then as I was watching the podcast or the webcast this morning, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad said, the day of white folks picking our leaders is over. Stop allowing them to tell us who to follow. You notice that they for years and years they've been telling us not to follow people like Farrakhan, but we can follow people like Jesse, Al, your Cory Bookers, who is a pawn for the white man, Oprah. All of these people, we can follow them. But a man who is speaking truth to power and trying to uplift black people, he's an anti-Semite. He's hateful. He's He's racist. We know that Farrakhan can't be racist.
Right. My mom's always said that you notice the difference. When a person is speaking truth, you can't stop them. When a person isn't speaking truth, you can shut them down.
Absolutely. Al says, here in Houston is pronounced, who is they? Asada says protection. And then you also say abstinence. Yeah, we need to teach our girls and our boys that, listen.
Your life is not over.
Having a baby is not like going to the mall and buying some shoes. Yeah. It's a whole life-altering experience for not just till they're 18 and to the rest of your life. You're always good. Look, y'all see these gray hairs I got?
And you're always going to be tied to that person you had a baby with until you're dead.
Yes, I got these gray hairs. My daughter be 26, but that little girl...
She turned out all right.
I
will tell you that.
And Billy says, I agree, the mistakes you have, birth is to our future. We need to just, if we're gonna get pregnant, have the baby.
Have the baby.
We need Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it all the time. It used to be white people were at the top of the population, black people, Hispanics, everyone else. Now it's white people, Hispanics, and blacks. So it kind of gives you a clue as to why white people want to build the wall.
Right.
Why they're interested in, deporting the Mexicans, because they're like, wow, they're about to catch us in population. And pretty soon we ain't going to have a say, so we need to stay the majority.
Yeah, and the good thing is, I mean, it's not really a good thing. It's really sad. The black population the black population has been staying at a steady rate of 13% of the population for the last 40, almost 50 years.
Why is that though? Shouldn't we have boomed somewhere?
Yeah, we should have, but because black on black crime, incarceration,
which is a myth, brother.
Right. But I'm just saying, us killing each other ain't helping our
numbers.
Not.
It's not helping. Yeah, I mean, anytime you murk somebody, that it decreases the population.
Right. So incarceration rate,
which is when you say, voting is not that big of a deal,
and then our kids being confused with their sexuality,
which a lot of it comes from the music that they listen to
and what they see on TV,
and so. And then Al, you say, and then Ruben, you said adoption. Yeah, absolutely. Adoption is also a form. There's plenty of people who want black babies.
Yeah, should be anyway. Yeah. Well, you remember in the '90s when all these people were going over to China, adopting these Chinese babies, and China put a stop to that.
Right.
You got so many black kids that are waiting to be adopted. How could the United States even allow a citizen of the United States to go somewhere else and get a kid when you have kids
black
here?
Babies, aren't really that, unless you're Madonna or somebody.
Well, yeah, it didn't even have to be a black man. I'm talking about just as, you got adopted kids here. That should have been outlawed.
Maybe it was fashionable at the time,
Yeah, it's like a little pet.
Right. A little pet, God. And then, let's see, Allie says, I said it before, you did listen, the countdown has started. What countdown? I'm missing something. Maybe I missed the comment. And Jonelle says, when do the Jews have been anti-Semite to their own so-called Semites? They paid Hitler for their Holocaust. Jews served in Hitler military as well. Some Jews were generals for Hitler. I mean, it's like, so why are we mad at Farrakhan for stating things that are obvious? I know it's unfashionable, to talk about Jewish people. But was he telling the truth? I mean, that's for you guys to decide. Was he telling the truth?
And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Exactly. And, it's like they should be mad about all of it, not just when it's about you. Be mad about all of it, And then for you guys, me and Jonelle, we had this conversation via inbox. Tamika Mallory, she is one of the leaders of the Women's March, the organizers, and she came under heat as well because she is a staunch advocate of Farrakhan. She said for the last 30 years, that she sat at Savior's Day with her family, and the Nation of Islam was there for her when her son's father was murdered when 17 years ago or whatever. And so, they want her to denounce her leader, somebody that she's looked up to.
If she wants this money.
If you want this money, but it's like, okay, but again, I like Tamika Mallory. I think she's doing an awesome job. And Jonelle opened my eyes to them things that, she needs to be where she's at in order to further the cause of black people. But I think at some point in time, too, we need to realize that the women's movement was never about black people. Never, ever, ever. Where are her fellow sisters to say, hey, leave Tamika alone. She can go to wherever she wants. She's a woman. She should be able to follow who she wants. Where are all these women that backing her up?
I'm with her.
I'm just asking. I'm asking the question.
They'll defend Hillary till the end, but this is the same policies that put their sons in jail.
Exactly, and continuing to do so. And Jonelle says the Jews owe us black people reparations. They regulate the slave trade and had their own slave ships and plantations, own cotton businesses as well. As us so-called slaves and sugarcane fields and various, products we were used for and pimp via labor and etc. There it is. Where's the lie in that? Hey, Arsan, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, how could you rebut that?
Yeah, I mean, but so, again, because the establishment, politics and all that are so used to us as black people just...
Zombie.
Okay. Okay, over here now.
Yes.
Okay, how about they're used to us doing that to where they're like, look, Negroes, we need y'all to stop following that damn Farrakhan. He's evil.
He's making trouble. Yeah, he's making trouble for us.
Why he's evil? Because he's pointing out the evil that was done to black people by the same people who are telling us that Farrakhan. How do you follow the madness? How do you follow that? It's like, but that's why I'm asking us as black people. Are we going to continue to go down that path of allowing them to tell us who to vote for, what to think, what to say, what to do? You guys ever notice? that they are giving us our leaders. Donovan made that point earlier. They are giving us our leaders. Like you said, we don't know who to, because black people overall, we vote Democrat, but we don't know who that person is going to be until they tell us. All right, you guys. Kermit the Frog is now running for, president of the Democrat Party, and we need you guys to get behind him. And so what do? We get behind him.
And knowing, what's really sad is a lot of us that